It's 6:47 p.m. on a Wednesday. You just got home from work. You're exhausted. Your brain feels like scrambled eggs. You open your fridge. There's chicken, there's rice, there's vegetables. You could cook. It would take maybe 25 minutes, but the idea of standing at the stove right now feels like climbing a mountain. So you grabbed your phone. You open DoorDash, you scroll, you find a burrito bowl. At the restaurant, it costs $11. But on your screen, it says $14.50 for the food. Then there's a $3.99 delivery fee, then a $2.50 service fee, then a $1.99 small order fee because you didn't hit the minimum. Then the app suggests a tip, 18%, 20%, or 25%. You pick 20%. That's another $4.60. You hit confirm, the total is $27.58. For a burrito that you could have made for $4 in your own kitchen in the same amount of time it took the driver to deliver it. But you paid $27.58 anyway. And you tell yourself the same thing you always tell yourself. I'm paying for convenience. I'm buying back my time. I'm tired. I deserve this. But here's the truth. You're not paying for convenience. You're paying a tax. A tax that some billionaire designed specifically to extract money from your exhaustion. You're not buying time. You're paying because someone convinced you that 25 minutes of your life is worthless. And that same someone got rich by selling you back the time they stole from you, with a 50-hour work week and a culture that glorifies being busy. This isn't just about food delivery. This is about how every single product and service in your life has been redesigned to make you feel like you don't have time. And then they charge you a premium to solve the problem they created. This is the convenience tax, and it's bleeding you dry. My name is Marcus, and on this channel, we don't talk about side hustles or crypto or budgeting apps. We talk about the financial psychology that school never taught you, the manipulation, the traps, the billionaire playbook that's designed to keep you broke. If you've ever looked at your bank account and thought, where did it all go? Even though you didn't buy anything big, you need to hear this. Because today, I'm going to show you how the convenience economy is a scam. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me show you what's actually happening, because this isn't about you being lazy. This isn't about you being bad with money. This is about a multi-billion-dollar industry that has weaponized your exhaustion. Let me introduce you to Derek. Derek is 29. Derek makes $68,000 a year. That's about $52,000 after taxes. Derek is busy. He works 45 hours a week. By the time he gets home, he's fried. So Derek has optimized his life for convenience, and I want you to see what that actually costs. Derek uses DoorDash or Uber Eats 4 times a week. Every time he orders, he thinks he's spending about $15, but the actual average is $27.50 per order. That's $110 a week. That's $5,720 a year. But Derek doesn't see it as $5,720. He sees it as, I'm hungry right now and I don't want to cook. Derek has Amazon Prime. He pays $139 a year for free shipping. But there's a study from 2023 that tracked Prime members versus non-Prime members. Prime members spend an average of $1,400 more per year than people without Prime. Why? Because when shipping feels free, you stop asking yourself, do I really need this? You just click buy. Derek thinks he's saving money on shipping. He's actually spending more on stuff he wouldn't have bought otherwise. Derek gets his groceries delivered on Instacart twice a month. It saves him a 25-minute round trip to the store. Sounds smart, right? Except Instacart marks up every single item by 15 to 20%. That gallon of milk that cost $4.29 at the store, Instacart charges $5.49. That box of cereal that's $5.99, Instacart charges $7.49. Then there's a $9.99 delivery fee. Then there's a tip. A $100 grocery trip at the store costs Derek $145 on Instacart. That's an extra $90 per month. That's $180 a year. Derek is paying $180 a year to avoid a 25-minute drive. Derek buys pre-cut vegetables because chopping feels like too much work after a long day. Pre-cut broccoli costs $4.99 for 12 ounces. A whole head of broccoli costs $2.49 for 16 ounces. Derek is paying 340% more per ounce for someone else to use a knife for 90 seconds. That's an extra $15 per week. That's $780 a year for pre-cut vegetables. Let's add this up so far. DoorDash, $5,720. Extra Amazon spending, $1,400. Instacart markup, $1,080. Pre-cut vegetables, $780. We're at $8,980, and we're not even done yet. Derek pays $29.99 a month for a coffee subscription service that delivers beans to his door. He could buy the exact same beans at the store for $18. He's paying $12 a month, or $144 a year, to avoid walking down the coffee aisle at a store he already goes to for other things. Derek uses a laundry pickup service. They pick up his clothes on Monday, wash them, fold them, and deliver them back on Wednesday. It costs $75 a month. Derek tells himself he's optimizing his time, but here's the reality. Doing laundry takes 15 minutes of actual hands-on work. You throw it in the washer, you come back 40 minutes later, you throw it in the dryer. You come back an hour later, you fold it while watching TV. Derek is paying $900 a year to avoid 15 minutes of effort per week. Derek bought a Keurig and uses K-Cup pods every morning. Each pod costs about 65 cents. Making coffee in a regular coffee maker costs about 12 cents per cup. Derek makes coffee 5 days a week. That's an extra $2.65 per week. That's $138 a year. For worse coffee, in more plastic waste. But it saves him 2 minutes. Now, here's where it gets really crazy. Derek pays for a monthly meal kit subscription, HelloFresh, Apron, one of those. It costs about $85 per week for 3 meals. Those same meals, if Derek bought the ingredients at the grocery store, would cost about $45. Derek is paying $40 extra per week for the convenience of not having to think about what to make for dinner. That's $2,080 a year. And here's the kicker. He still has to cook it. The only thing he's outsourcing is the mental effort of meal planning. Let's update Derek's convenience tax. Food delivery, $5,720. Amazon Prime effect, $1,400. Instacart, $1,080. Pre-cut vegetables, $780. Coffee subscription, $144. Laundry service, $900. K-Cups, $138. Meal kits, $2,080. Total, $12,242. Derek is spending $12,242 per year on convenience. That's 23.5% of his after-tax income. Nearly 1/4 of every dollar Derek earns goes to paying other people to do things he could easily do himself. And the crazy part? Derek doesn't feel rich. Derek feels broke. Derek has $1,800 in his savings account. He's 29 years old and he's 1 car repair away from being in credit card debt. But this isn't Derek being irresponsible. This is Derek being the perfect customer, because everything in Derek's life has been designed to make him feel like he doesn't have time. And when you feel like you don't have time, you'll pay anything to buy it back. Now, let me show you how this became normal. Because 20 years ago, this didn't exist. The convenience economy is new, and it was created deliberately. In 2005, Amazon launched Prime. At the time, people thought it was insane. Who's going to pay $79 a year for free shipping? You can just wait a few extra days. But Amazon understood something about human psychology that most people don't. They understood that free is the most powerful word in marketing. It doesn't matter that you're paying $139 up front. Once you've paid it, every purchase feels free. And when something feels free, you stop evaluating whether you need it. In 2013, DoorDash launched. At the time, food delivery existed. You could call a pizza place, you could call Chinese food, but DoorDash did something different. They made it so easy that you don't even have to talk to a human. You just tap, tap, tap. Food shows up. And every tap removes a moment where you might change your mind. Every tap removes friction, and friction is what stops you from spending money. In 2012, Instacart launched. Same idea. Grocery delivery existed before, but it was clunky. You had to schedule it days in advance. Instacart made it instant, and instant is expensive because instant means you're not planning, you're reacting. And when you're reacting, you're not thinking about cost, you're thinking about now. Here's what all these companies figured out. They figured out that the real product isn't the service. The real product is removing the moment where you think. The moment where you pause and ask yourself, do I really need this right now? That moment is what protects your money. And these companies have spent billions of dollars engineering that moment out of existence. There's a term for this in behavioral economics. It's called friction reduction. Every time you have to do something manually, that's friction. Having to call to place an order, having to drive to the store, having to think about what to cook, all of that is friction. And friction makes you stop and evaluate, makes you think, is this worth it? But when you remove friction, spending becomes automatic. It becomes thoughtless. You're not making a decision anymore, you're just doing. And that's when companies make money. Jeff Bezos has a quote about this. He said, "We want to make buying so easy that it's essentially thoughtless." That's not a convenience feature, that's a trap. Now let's talk about the people who got rich off this. Because this isn't just a business model. This is wealth extraction on a massive scale. Jeff Bezos is worth $180 billion. He didn't get there by selling cheap stuff. He got there by convincing you that 2-day shipping is normal, that same-day shipping is necessary, that waiting is suffering. Amazon doesn't make most of its profit from selling products. Amazon makes its profit from Prime memberships and from charging sellers 15 to 40% fees to list on the platform. You think you're buying from Amazon. You're actually buying from a random seller who's paying Amazon protection money, and you're paying the markup. Tony Yu, the CEO of DoorDash, is worth $4.2 billion. DoorDash has never been consistently profitable as a company. But Tony's a billionaire. How? Because DoorDash went public and investors are betting that eventually you'll be so addicted to tapping a button for food that they can raise prices even higher. You're not the customer. You're the product. Your laziness is what they're selling to investors. The founder of Instacart, Apoorva Mehta, was worth $1.3 billion when the company went public in 2023. Instacart's business model is simple. Mark up every item, charge a delivery fee, charge a service fee, suggest a tip. You're paying 40% more for groceries and you don't even notice because they hide the markup in the item price. Apoorva got rich because you didn't want to spend 25 minutes driving to the store. Here's the really insidious part. These companies don't just profit from your exhaustion. They actively make you more exhausted. Think about it. You work 45 to 50 hours a week. You're tired. So you pay for convenience. But paying for convenience means you're spending more money, which means you need to work more hours to afford it, which makes you more tired, which makes you pay for more convenience. It's a cycle, and the only people winning are the billionaires. There's a reason why every single convenience app uses the same psychological tricks. Bright colors, instant gratification, one-click ordering, suggested tips that start at 18%, default options that are always the most expensive. This isn't accidental. This is behavioral psychology being weaponized against your bank account. These companies have teams of PhDs whose entire job is to figure out how to make you spend more money without thinking about it. So how do you fight back? Because I'm not going to tell you to delete every app and grow your own vegetables. That's not realistic. The convenience economy exists because life is genuinely harder and busier than it used to be. Sometimes paying for convenience is the right move. The key is knowing when you're making a choice and when you're being manipulated. Here's the framework. I call it the dollar per minute test. Before you pay for any convenience service, calculate how much you're paying per minute saved. Let's say DoorDash saves you 30 minutes of cooking and driving to pick up food, but it costs you $16 extra in fees and markup. That's $32 per hour. If you make less than $32 per hour at your job, you're paying more for convenience than your time is worth. You're literally losing money by saving time. Let's apply this to Instacart. Grocery shopping takes about 40 minutes, including drive time. Instacart costs you an extra $45 per trip in markups and fees. That's $67.50 per hour. Unless you're billing $70 plus per hour, you're getting ripped off. Same with laundry services. If you're paying $75 a month to avoid 60 minutes of work, that's $75 per hour. Are you making $75 an hour? If not, you're paying yourself negative money. Here's the second rule, the autopilot audit. Once a month, go through every transaction on your credit card and ask yourself, did I actively decide to buy this or did I just tap a button? If you can't remember making the decision, that's autopilot spending. That's friction reduction working against you, and you need to add friction back. Delete your saved payment methods. Make yourself type in your card number every time. It sounds annoying. That's the point. That 15 seconds of annoyance is the moment where you ask yourself, do I really need this? And that moment saves you thousands. Turn off one-click ordering. Disable notifications from shopping apps. Make spending require effort again. Here's your homework. For the next 7 days, I want you to write down every single convenience charge you pay, every delivery fee, every service fee, every markup, every dime you pay extra to avoid effort. At the end of the week, add it up. Multiply by 52. That's your annual convenience tax. Now multiply that by 30. That's how much wealth you're giving away over your adult life. The convenience economy isn't making your life easier. It's making your life more expensive. Stop paying the tax, keep your money. If this video made you rethink the last thing you ordered, hit subscribe. Next video, we're exposing the subscription scam and how companies turn your entire life into a monthly bill. See you there.